everyone, I'm Stephanie Weaver, author of the upcoming Migraine Relief Plan Cookbook. Welcome back to the Blue and Yellow Kitchen. In each episode, I make a dish inspired by a new book while talking to its author. Today's book is A Girl Called Rumi, and I'm making aash anar, Persian pomegranate soup. I'd like to welcome Ari Honarvar, author of A Girl Called Rumi. Welcome, Ari.
Thank you so much for having me, Stephanie.
It's so great to have you in the kitchen. Full disclosure, everybody, Ari actually lives in San Diego, so if we could have physically had her in the kitchen, but because of that pesky COVID thing, we decided we would just do it our regular old way. So we have her on the iPad, as with all our other guests. So tell us, Ari, what is A Girl Called Rumi, a novel about?
It's a story of childhood friendships, and it's a story of family bonds and what happens to relationships when you're thrown in the crucible of political oppression and war. But at a deeper level, it's a story of the omnipresent yearning for liberation from suffering.
Oh, that's really beautiful. And the book is inspired, it's not your story, but it's inspired by your story, partly in part going through the Iranian Revolution. Is that not right?
It's correct, yeah. When I was 6, the Iranian Revolution erupted, and then the Islamic Republic took over and cut women's rights in half and curtailed freedom of expression, and lots of people were jailed. Whoever opposed the tyranny was jailed and executed. And then Saddam Hussein attacked Iran and started a war that lasted 8 years and took countless lives. So we were attacked from the outside, and we were like an autoimmune disease. We were attacked from within. And then there was the war on joy, which really hurt in a different way. As a little girl, I wasn't able to play with my best friend who was a boy. Music and dancing both became, for the most part, illegal, and women couldn't sing or ride a bicycle or jog. And so we had to become really resourceful in those days to hold on to our soul, to our spirit.
It's so beautiful, and thank you for that. So in terms of what readers might need to know beforehand, the things that I'm thinking about are that there's present day, your lead character's name is Kimia, is in San Diego as an adult, and then there's lots of flashbacks to her as a child during the revolution. Is there anything else you think readers should know beforehand?
I would say there are a lot of Persian words being introduced, and the Persian culture. I opted to put footnotes for the Persian words, because whenever I read foreign language books written in different places, I enjoy, looking at the footnotes. So I've done the same for the readers for this book.
Very good. Yes, I learned so much about the Persian culture, and also just kind of an inside look at the revolution, which of course I knew had happened, but I didn't know how it felt. And I think that's what was really special about this. Do you have a favorite character or moment in the book?
Right now, I really like the antagonist, Mortaza. He sees things, the way he sees things kind of makes sense to me. And then Arman, the brother of the main character, really makes me laugh too. I enjoy his perspective. Favorite moment, I would say, is the moment that the main character gives herself the name Rumi.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So, and tell us who Rumi is for those people who are watching who might have heard the name but aren't really 100% sure.
Sure. Yeah, I get a lot of questions. It's like, is that Beyonce's daughter? Apparently she has a daughter named Rumi, but no, it's the name is after Rumi, the 13th century poet and mystic Maulana Jalaluddin Muhammad Balkhi Rumi, which in the beginning of the novel, Kimia adopts the name for her own, and that's also the inspiration for the title.
Very good. So I wanted to feature this book for a few reasons. I thought it's a beautiful story. I also love there is a lot of magical realism, so there's a whole storytelling component that kind of reminded me of Scheherazade and 1001 Nights. And there's all these insights into the Persian culture. I learned so much more about the Iranian Revolution and how it felt to live through that. So I think you did a beautiful job of conveying your cultural experience while also creating a gorgeous work of art. So congratulations on that.
Thank you so much.
So the recipe I'm making today is aash anar, and we're going to talk about it, which is like a party soup after she reads. I've asked Ari to read a short passage, and while she's reading, I'm going to dish up the soup and add some kind of finishing oil, and then we'll talk about the recipe after she reads. So Ari, can you set up what you're about to read and then go ahead and read the passage that we've chosen?
Sure. The passage is in 2009 when Kimia is an adult and she just collided with a mysterious bird in her mother's garage, and she gets knocked out and begins to relive her life as a 9-year-old girl in war-torn Iran. And then when she comes to, she ends up spending the night at her mother's, and this is when she wakes up.
Great.
I awaken to the comforting smell of sautéed onions and cumin and turmeric. I rub my eyes and survey my surroundings. There used to be 2 long miniature-style paintings hanging from the wall across from this sofa. Men on horses hunted deer with impossibly thin legs, and women tended to a giant cauldron. My father had brought the paintings along with my black box from Isfahan. He had arrived with the winter air on his jacket and in his hair. He swept me up into his arms as soon as he walked into the kitchen, kissing me with his bristly face. "Uji, where have you been?" he bellowed, laughing from his depths. Arman, now attached to Baba's legs, tugged at my foot, and so my father set me down and hoisted him up. "Look how big you are," he said to Arman. After he and Maman had exchanged pecks on the cheeks, she returned to dinner preparations. "Look at these treasures," he exclaimed, opening his suitcase. Arman and I stared at his crumpled clothes, disappointment registering on our faces. My dad smiled and grabbed a bundle of shirts and with a few quick motions unraveled the clothes to reveal the paintings and the box. Maman looked up from the simmering aash anar, gave the parrot presents a brief glance, and then wagged her ladle in the air, dripping pomegranate sauce on the floor. "Why did you waste your money on that?" she chided my father, zeroing in on the box. My father only chuckled. "Kimia," she nodded at the floor, "get a rag." The box was intended as a gift for my mother, but her rejection meant it would come to me or Arman. Luckily, Arman was much more enamored of the Rubik's Cube that had also tumbled out of Baba's clothing.
Oh, that's so beautiful. So that's a flashback from the adult Kimia to her childhood where her mother is making this soup. So I'm going to show it to the camera first, and then I'm going to show you, and you can tell me how well I did, and then I'll tell everybody what's in it because it's quite delicious. How does that look?
Ooh, I want some.
Yay, okay. So what I was doing, so this is if you're familiar with Indian khichdi, it's a similar base recipe. It's rice and yellow split peas, onion and garlic, a whole bunch of herbs chopped up, so cilantro, parsley, and fresh mint. It's all cooked, and then at the end you add pomegranate syrup or pomegranate molasses, which is, you can find at any market that caters to Middle Eastern cuisines, or you can find it online. My main tip about it is it's a strong flavor. It's a delicious flavor. It's kind of tart and sweet, but it can overpower the soup. So I would say add a small amount at a time and kind of taste and stop when it tastes good to you. But I've also topped it with some fresh parsley, and my neighbors happen to have some ripe pomegranate, so I was able to do the beautiful jewel toned seeds on top. And this is also, I think this is served at the tea house scene, isn't it? Isn't there? Or am I remembering that wrong? There's there's a scene in the backstory where I feel like the soup is also served, but now I'm forgetting.
Maybe.
Yeah, and then
not at the tea house, though, but probably at some other gathering.
And so what I topped it with is you can warm up olive oil, or I used ghee, and some dried mint and some turmeric, and so that's considered like a finishing oil. And I'm going to go ahead and taste it so I can tell you how it tastes. It's just delightfully warm and so creamy. You've got the tart and the sweet from the pomegranate molasses, and then I'm getting a little crunch from the seeds. It's really hearty. I'd say it feels like just so comforting. It's such a comforting taste. And did your mother make this? Do you have this a lot still?
She did make it. It's been a while since I've made it or had it, so but I'm inspired. So this autumn, definitely, we're gonna have some aash anar.
Wonderful. So Ari, thank you so much for being here today. It was such a pleasure to have you, and I'm so happy to share your book. And I hope everyone will go out and buy it.
Oh, thank you so much. What a beautiful program you have, and I loved being here. Thank you.
Fantastic. So you'll find the recipe link in the Facebook video or on my website, mygreenreliefrecipes.com. You're going to find everything about her. Ari is a fascinating person. She has a beautiful deck of oracle cards. She does translations from Farsi of Rumi, and she's a writer, and she volunteers with refugees, so she's a wonderful person to follow. You'll find her at rumywithaview.com, and that's also her handle on social media. And if you enjoyed the show, please share it with a friend. You can order a copy of A Girl Called Rumi wherever you like to buy books, and if you don't have a book buying budget, you can help out an author by asking your local library to buy their book, because that helps us as well. Follow me at sweavermph and like my Facebook page so you don't miss an episode. Join us next time for another author interview and a dish inspired by their book. Thanks so much for watching The Blue and Yellow Kitchen.